The cold void of space stretched endlessly, punctuated only by distant stars and the faint pulse of distant galaxies. Yet among those countless pinpricks of light, one shadow grew larger by the minute, a massive alien fleet, its sleek black hulls glinting under the light of Earth's sun. They called themselves the Zarthak, a species from a dying star system, hardened and ruthless, whose insatiable thirst for resources had driven them across the galaxy. Their empire, once sprawling and unchallenged, now teetered on the brink of collapse. They had conquered dozens of planets, but every new world bled them dry faster than it could replenish. When their ancient scouts detected Earth's abundant resources, the deep oceans, rich minerals, vast forests, the Zarthak command saw their salvation. But Earth was different. Orbiting silently above the blue planet, the Zarthak Admiral Varkuin studied the images from their long-range scanners. The planet was smaller than most they had conquered, but teeming with life and dense with natural wealth. More importantly, its inhabitants, the humans, were unknown to them. Primitive, yes, by the Zarthak standards, but curious and unpredictable. Varkuin's first priority was to assess their strength. "Deploy the probes," Varkuin ordered, his voice a low rumble through the ship's command center. The room hummed with alien technology as small drones flickered to life, slipping past the upper atmosphere and weaving through clouds, broadcasting silent pulses of data back to the fleet. Below on Earth, the arrival had not gone unnoticed. In a remote military base deep within the Rocky Mountains, Colonel Sarah Jensen paced in front of a bank of monitors, the images flickering with unidentified objects. Reports came flooding in from satellites, radar stations, and civilian sightings. A massive fleet of alien ships was gathering in Earth's orbit. "Are we sure they're hostile?" her deputy asked nervously. "Not yet," Sarah replied, her eyes never leaving the screen. "But they're not here to visit. This is an invasion." Across the globe, governments scrambled to understand the threat. Satellites tracked the fleet's slow but steady advance. Cities buzzed with rumors and fear, but none could have predicted what would come next. Back on the Zarthak flagship, Varkuin's sensors detected a surge of energy from Earth. Strange signals that did not match any known patterns of communication. Curious, he dispatched a reconnaissance team to make contact, hoping to intimidate the humans into submission before launching their resource extraction operations. The scout ship descended through Earth's atmosphere like a silent ghost, landing in the dense forests of the Pacific Northwest. Its sleek design stood in stark contrast to the towering ancient trees. From within the ship's hull, the scouts transmitted messages, cryptic, aggressive demands for Earth's surrender and cooperation. But the humans responded not with submission, but with something the Zarthak did not expect: defiance. A small band of scientists, soldiers, and civilians, led by Dr. Raj Patel, a brilliant astrophysicist, managed to capture the scouts' message. Instead of panic, Raj's team used it to broadcast a message of their own, an unyielding declaration that Earth would not fall quietly. "The Zarthak underestimate us," Sarah told her team. "They see our technology as primitive, but they don't understand human ingenuity, our will to survive, or the alliances we've forged." Meanwhile, the Zarthak fleet prepared to begin their resource extraction. Massive machines, designed to strip Earth's core of its precious minerals, were deployed in orbit. The atmosphere darkened as ships descended toward strategic locations. But Earth was ready. Deep beneath the surface, secret research facilities activated long-dormant defense systems. Ancient satellites, relics of a forgotten Cold War, hummed back to life, equipped now with cutting-edge AI and weapon systems developed in secret for just such an existential threat. And then, as the Zarthak began their operations, the first strikes came, not from the humans, but from Earth itself. Orbital weapons, fired from stealth platforms, disabled the resource machines before they could dig deep. Swarms of drones, guided by human pilots and AI, harried the Zarthak landing forces. Cities banded together to defend their skies, fighters intercepting alien crafts with surprising agility. But the Zarthak were relentless. Admiral Varkuin's voice was cold and unwavering in the face of resistance. They are primitive, but persistent. We will break them. Earth will be ours, or the galaxy will know our wrath. As the battle for Earth escalated, a deeper mystery began to unravel, one that neither the humans nor the Zarthak fully understood. Buried beneath the planet's surface was something ancient and powerful, something that would turn the tide of the war in ways no one could predict. But for now, the war had begun. Earth was fighting for its survival, and the Zarthak were about to learn that conquering a planet was never as simple as taking its resources. The early clashes between Earth's defenders and the Zarthak forces raged with brutal intensity, but neither side could claim a decisive victory. The alien superior technology clashed against humanity's ingenuity and unyielding spirit. Yet, as the surface battles drew the world's attention, a small group of scientists and soldiers descended into the planet's depths, chasing rumors of an ancient power buried beneath the Earth, a force that could change everything. Dr. Raj Patel stood in the dimly lit chamber of a secret underground complex beneath the Himalayas. The walls hummed faintly, etched with symbols and circuitry far beyond any modern technology. His fingers traced the glowing lines of a massive crystalline structure embedded deep within the rock. Is this technology or something else? Lieutenant Kara Morales asked, eyes wide. Raj shook his head. It's both. This isn't just an ancient artifact. It's a power source, and from what we're seeing, it predates human civilization by millennia. But as they studied the crystal, alarms suddenly blared through the facility. Sensors indicated a massive energy surge originating from the core. Something's waking up, Raj whispered. Far above ground, Admiral Varkuin observed Earth's defenses with growing frustration. The unexpected resilience of the humans stalled his plans, but the mysterious energy signals emanating from the planet's core intrigued him more than anything. Prepare a strike team, he ordered. We will take the source of their strength or destroy it. Back underground, Raj's team scrambled to analyze the crystal's output. The energy was unlike anything recorded, a blend of bioorganic resonance and advanced quantum fields. It's alive, whispered Kara. Not alive, Raj corrected, conscious. And it's communicating. Suddenly, the chamber filled with a low, melodic hum. Images flickered in the air, a history of Earth, ancient civilizations rising and falling, guided secretly by this power. We're not alone, the voice echoed in their minds. Guardians of the planet, awakened to defend against the invaders. On the surface, Earth's forces coordinated their defense, buying time as the secret beneath their feet stirred. Fighter jets streaked through stormy skies, laser fire painting the clouds. But all eyes soon turned to the skies, where massive alien warships loomed. Then, without warning, the ground shook violently. Cities trembled, communication satellites flickered out, and deep underground, the crystal pulsed with a radiant light, sending waves of energy through the planet. The Zarthak ships faltered, their systems disrupted by the sudden surge. One by one, their weapons powered down, their shields flickering. Admiral Varkuin's calm shattered. What is this sorcery? From the depths of the Earth, ancient defense systems awoke. Technologies left behind by a civilization that had faced threats far greater than the Zarthak. Above the chaos, humanity found new hope. The mysterious power did not just disrupt the enemy. It began to augment Earth's own technologies. Human weapons became sharper, defenses more resilient. The tides of battle started to turn, but victory was far from certain. Varkuin's forces regrouped, adapting quickly. They unleashed biomechanical beasts, terrifying hybrids engineered to hunt humans relentlessly. The war was escalating into something darker, more desperate. Raj and Kara, now bonded to the ancient power, understood that their mission was no longer just survival. It was to unlock the full potential of the Earth's hidden guardian before the Empire's wrath consumed the planet. With the fate of humanity hanging in the balance, the real battle for Earth was only just beginning. The war that had begun in the skies now spilled across continents. Cities burned, forests were scorched, and the world's armies fought tooth and nail against the relentless Zarthak assault. But beneath the destruction, something far more significant was taking shape. Deep in the underground facility, beneath the Himalayas, Dr. Raj Patel and Lieutenant Kara Morales felt the weight of their discovery. The crystal's power wasn't just defensive, it was evolving, responding to the will of those who sought to protect Earth. "We need to interface with it," Raj said, eyes blazing with determination. "If we can harness this energy, it could turn the tide." Kara nodded, though her face betrayed her fear. "But what if it's more than we can control?" As they prepared the neural interface, sensors outside detected an incoming strike from the Zarthak, an elite task force led by the infamous warlord Zarkvel, known for his brutal tactics and unyielding loyalty to the Empire. On the surface, the battle raged with terrifying intensity. Zarkvel's forces deployed towering mechs and bioengineered horrors that tore through Earth's defenses. The human armies were pushed to the brink. But as the alien warlord moved closer to the underground complex, the Earth itself responded. The crystal's light intensified, sending waves of energy through the ground. Trees uprooted themselves to block advancing mechs. Rivers shifted course to flood enemy positions, and the very atmosphere seemed charged with a strange, protective force. In the depths of the facility, Raj's team connected to the crystal, their minds flooded with visions, ancient battles, star systems protected by this same force, and a dire warning. The Zarthak were not the first invaders Earth had faced, but if they succeeded, they would unleash a darkness worse than any empire's ambition. Suddenly, Zarkvel's command ship entered the atmosphere, launching a barrage aimed directly at the facility. Explosions rocked the underground complex as the protective energy shield flickered. Kara fought to maintain the connection, while Raj struggled to interpret the crystal's ancient data. Outside, Sarah Jensen led a desperate counterattack. Her fighter squadron engaged the alien warlord's fleet, dodging plasma blasts and retaliating with precision strikes. "Hold the line," Sarah barked into her comms. "We can't let them breach the facility." In the midst of chaos, something unexpected happened. The crystal's energy surged outward in a brilliant pulse, disabling enemy weapons and systems. Zarkvel's mechs convulsed, then collapsed as if cut off from their power source. The warlord's ship faltered, spinning out of control as its systems failed. Stunned, Sarah watched as the enemy forces retreated, their formation breaking apart under the invisible force guarding Earth. But victory was fragile. Admiral Varkuin's voice crackled through captured transmissions, cold and furious. "They wield the planet's power. Destroy it, and Earth will fall." Raj realized their task was no longer just defense, but survival, protecting the ancient power from becoming a weapon for destruction in the hands of their enemies. As the dust settled on the battlefield, humanity found a new weapon, but also a new burden. The war for Earth was no longer just about resources. It was a war for the planet's very soul, and the fate of two empires hung in the balance. The Zarthak retreat was not the defeat it seemed. Beneath their broken formations and crippled ships, a darker threat stirred within the Empire's ranks, one born from fear and desperation. Admiral Varkuin's fury gave way to paranoia. The humans' unexpected connection to Earth's ancient power shattered his confidence, and whispers of betrayal spread through the fleet. Back on Earth, the planet's protective energy pulsed rhythmically, a steady heartbeat beneath the scars of battle. Raj and Kara worked tirelessly, deciphering the crystal's language, forging a fragile bond with the ancient force that might yet save humanity. But inside the human coalition, cracks began to show. With resources stretched thin and cities in ruins, factions emerged. Some demanded total war, others sought peace at any cost. Tensions threatened to unravel the fragile unity humanity had built. Sarah Jensen found herself caught in the middle. Military leader, strategist, and reluctant diplomat, she struggled to hold the world's defenders together. "War is tearing us apart from within," she confided to Raj during a brief lull. "If we don't stand united, we'll lose everything." Raj nodded, eyes tired but resolute. "The Zarthak aren't just fighting us, they're trying to break us. We can't let them." Meanwhile, deep in the Zarthak fleet, a shadow moved. A high-ranking officer named Zevra, once loyal to Varkuin, began secret talks with a mysterious faction opposing the warlord's harsh tactics. They believed the war was lost and sought to seize power by any means necessary. Zevra's betrayal would be the deadliest weapon against both humans and Zarthak alike. As tensions mounted, the crystal's energy began to react strangely. Flashes of warning, visions of a cataclysmic event long buried beneath the Earth's surface. Raj's team realized the planet itself was alive and angry. If we misuse this power, Raj warned, we risk triggering something far worse than the Zarthak invasion. The warning came too late. Zevra's coup erupted amidst the chaos of a massive battle above Earth's atmosphere. Ships loyal to the dissidents opened fire on both human and Zarthak forces, turning the war into a three-way conflict. Explosions rocked the skies as allies became enemies, and the fragile balance shattered. On the ground, Sarah led a desperate push to defend the underground complex, as its energy shield flickered under heavy fire. Raj and Kara raced against time to stabilize the crystal, hoping to prevent the disaster it had warned them about. But the planet's anger was rising, and with it, a power that could destroy everything. The three-way war tore through Earth's skies like a storm of fire and metal. Zarthak loyalists fought their own rebels, while human forces scrambled to survive attacks from both sides. Amid the chaos, Zevra's betrayal had one goal: seize control of the ancient power for herself and the dissident faction. She believed harnessing the crystal's energy could crown her ruler of the shattered empire. But Zevra underestimated the crystal's true nature. Deep underground, Raj and Kara fought to maintain the fragile connection, warning of the consequences if the power was abused. "We can't control it like a weapon," Raj insisted. "It's a living force, part of Earth itself." Above, Sarah coordinated desperate defenses, pushing back assaults on the secret facility while trying to hold the fracturing human coalition together. When Zevra's forces breached the complex, she attempted to sever the crystal's link with humanity and channel its energy directly to her command ship orbiting above. The ground trembled violently. The crystal's light flared to blinding intensity, then exploded outward in a shock wave of pure energy that shook the planet. Zevra's ship was ripped apart, her forces scattered. But the blast had triggered something far older and darker beneath the Earth's crust. Seismic activity spiked worldwide. Volcanoes awakened. Oceans churned. Raj's voice was grim. The crystal wasn't just a weapon. It was a seal, one holding back an ancient cosmic force imprisoned deep below. The force had sensed the disturbance and began to awaken, a presence far beyond any warlord's ambitions. As the planet convulsed, humans and Zarthak alike paused, realizing their petty battles were now part of a much greater conflict. Sarah sent a desperate message across all channels. This is no longer just a war for resources or survival. Earth itself is fighting back, and we must stand together or perish. In the face of annihilation, former enemies began to forge an uneasy alliance. Raj, Kara, and Sarah emerged as leaders of this new coalition, tasked with unlocking the crystal's true purpose and preventing the ancient force from consuming the world. Admiral Varkuin, battered but not broken, recognized the threat too late to retreat. His empire was crumbling, not from human resistance, but from the planet's own wrath. The final battle was no longer about conquest. It was about survival of Earth, humanity, and the galaxy itself. The world was shaking, not just beneath the feet of its inhabitants, but at the very core of its existence. The ancient cosmic force, long imprisoned beneath Earth's surface, was awakening in response to the turmoil above. Raj, Kara, and Sarah stood in the underground chamber where it all began, bathed in the radiant light of the crystal. They had forged an alliance that spanned species and loyalties, a fragile unity born from the necessity to survive. "We don't just fight the Zarthak anymore," Raj said, his voice steady despite the chaos outside. "We fight Earth itself if we lose control." Above ground, Earth's skies burned with the final battles. Zarthak loyalists and rebels, once bitter enemies, now fought alongside human pilots and soldiers, their fleets tangled in desperate maneuvers against the planet's rising fury. Admiral Varkuin, stripped of much of his power, made one last move, launching his flagship directly toward the planet's core. If he could destroy the crystal, the ancient force would remain sealed, but Earth's defenses would collapse, leaving it vulnerable. "Sacrifice everything," he growled. "If I cannot have Earth, no one will." Sarah's fighters intercepted Varkuin's flagship in a blazing dogfight. Missiles tore through the void. Energy beams carved brilliant scars across the stars. On the surface, the planet responded. Rivers surged to flood landing zones. Forests erupted in bursts of bioluminescent energy that blinded enemy forces. The ancient power was alive, and it was defending its home with everything it had. Deep inside the crystal chamber, Raj and Kara merged their consciousness with the crystal's energy, becoming conduits to the planet's will. "We must synchronize," Kara whispered, "or everything dies." With trembling hands, Raj initiated the final connection. Waves of energy surged through them, and suddenly they saw the Earth not as a world, but as a living entity, sentient, ancient, and fiercely protective. Together, they channeled the crystal's power to create a protective barrier, halting Varkuin's ship just as it reached the core. The flagship exploded in a brilliant burst, but the shockwave was absorbed by the crystal's energy, spreading across the planet like a healing wave. With the threat neutralized, the ancient force retreated back into slumber, sealed once again by Raj and Kara's bond. In the aftermath, the shattered Zarthak fleet withdrew from Earth, their empire broken not just by war, but by the planet's own unyielding will. Earth had survived. Humanity had prevailed. Sarah looked out over a battered world, scarred but alive. She knew the battle had changed everything. "We'll rebuild," she said quietly. "Not just our world, but the galaxy's future." Raj and Kara nodded, the crystal's light dimming, but still pulsing softly beneath the surface, an eternal guardian watching over Earth. And somewhere, in the distant reaches of space, the surviving Zarthak whispered a warning. Earth was no longer a prize to be taken. It was a force to be reckoned with. They had come for Earth's resources, and lost their empire instead.